Hey, Nick Collier here. We've got two projects coming up here. I finally got the materials for them. One project, this is a 12-inch aluminum or 3-inch wide aluminum piece of bar stock, and we're going to complete the tracer attachment for the lathe. The second project is making 32 holes around the perimeter of this piece of 2-inch bar stock. Okay, in my earlier video we set up the divider head with this new chuck. Well, turns out that it's not exactly a new chuck. It's pretty well used up, but it's going to be good enough to deal with what I want to do. We've trammed the table, we've trammed the head both ways, this way and this way, and we've squared up the rod to the head, and so everything is pretty well set. But my concern is that the chuck is fairly worn, so I'm going to be slightly out in my centered here. Now I'm going to be okay on this end, but here it's going to be a little funny. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this chuck off. I'm going to put the piece of steel in the chuck, tighten it up, get it where I want it to be, and then pull the chuck off, take the chuck over to the lathe, chuck it up on a 4-jaw chuck, and find center, or I mean not center, square up my chuck so that it's running true, and then that way this will be running who knows how far off. I'm thinking the chuck is 2 thousandths off at this point, so I'm going to be at least 2 thousandths. Who knows what the jaws are going to do? We may end up having a 6 or 8 thousandths to square it up. So once I get it squared up, then take it back off, put it back on the divider head, and set it up in the tailstock, and then square everything up again, and then it's a turned piece of material. Then I can come in with my drill and drill 36 holes using the divider head to rotate. Sounds pretty simple? Yeah, right. Okay, so we're gonna go over to the lathe and do that part. Alright, let's see if we can see that sketch. There it is. So it's a series of 32 holes around the perimeter here, 32 holes here, 32 holes here, and 32 there. And each one has a specific length. Well, the first length is 3/4 of an inch, which is pretty close. So I think what I'm going to do, and also the holes have to be lined up with each other along the shaft. So I think what I have to do here is I have to, he wants me to put a bolt on this end so that he has a bolt head to put a wrench on so that he can tighten the bottom part, which is going to have a pipe thread. And so I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to drill a hole and put a pretty good sized bolt in there and bottom it out, and then I'll have something to grab onto on the divider head up there. And then I can turn the whole, or not turn, but I can set the whole piece up and cut it the whole length, or drill it all. What is it? 5 holes? 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 sets of holes. So we're going to put the 2-inch bar stock on the lathe, turn the ends a little bit, drill a hole in one end, and see what we can come up with. Okay, we pulled our 4-jaw chuck, and we're going to put the 3-jaw on here. And this chuck is not light. Neither of them are light. And so in order to get the threads to start, I literally have to have something to hold the chuck in place. And then once it tightens up, so I built it out of this 2x6, and once it tightens up, then it just kind of jumps off of the 2x6, and that releases. So we got our chuck. And let's open it up to accept that 2-inch piece of bar stock. And since my lathe won't handle 2 inches, I can just go ahead and bring it in that close and see how close we are. Oops, let's speed this up. We're off, but not much. Actually, let's go ahead and get a little closer. This chuck is far enough out that sometimes you just spin it a little bit and it'll square up or not, which is in this case it got worse. We're getting closer. That's pretty good. Let's see if we get just a little closer, just for fun. I think that's going to be about as good as it's going to get. We'll snug it down. We're going to go ahead and just face off this edge, this outside edge here, in order to begin our measuring once we get it set up over on the mill. And I can just kind of come in with a corner here. Look at that center hole, that sucker's out a bit. I'm guessing we're 5/7 thousandths out, and I can live with that because we're going to eventually turn the outside surface and we don't need it to be super accurate at this point. Yeah, we're 7 thousandths. So we're 7 thousandths out on the outside surface. We look like we're about 30 thousandths out on the inside. So we're going to single point that in, get that squared up so we have something to work with. And I'll be back in a minute. Okay, we're going to go in with this very sharp point and just barely skim that inside edge at 30 degrees, which will give us a 60-degree cone. So, and we're going to skim that, and then we'll come back in and drill it out a bit and skim it again. You can see how far out that is. Okay, that's a good start. Now we can go in with the drill bit, and that bit's not going to jump around too much, hopefully. We'll come in with a fairly small bit and see if we can catch it and keep it centered. Okay, we've drilled it out to probably a little under 1/2 inch, and now we're going to take it to 21/32, which is our tap size for 3/4 inch. Okay, so we tapped it, we bottom tapped it. Now we've went in with some paint thinner and cleaned out the oil and all the chips and everything out of the hole. And now we can take this down, and it looks like it's going to bottom out just about the right place for me, because now I can grab this with the 3-jaw chuck and be able to work on the whole piece at one time. So I think what we need to do at this point is we're going to bottom this thing out like a champ and put some Loctite on the threads so that it is never going to move. Okay, a little Loctite there, a little Loctite here, and I think we've got ourselves the ability to lock that thread in. Little crescent wrench action. Tighten that baby down. Don't think we're going to go anywhere. Okay, so now I think what I want to do, let's get rid of the protector rag. Let's pull this back a bit. Okay. So in our banging this around, we've kind of thrown off the point here, so we're going to redo that. Face off this top edge, so we got a nice square surface. We've got this thing pretty well, as close as we can get it, with that bolt on the back side. The bolt's setting up right now, or the Loctite's setting up right now. So now what we're going to do is take the bolt and put it in the 3-jaw chuck that fits the divider head, and put the 3-jaw chuck in the 4-jaw chuck on the lathe. So then we've got 4-jaw, 3-jaw connected to this piece here, and then we're going to square everything up and get it all concentric, and then take the 4-jaw or the 3-jaw off of the lathe and take it over to the divider head and put it on the divider head, and then we're going to be fairly concentric, and we'll be able to skim. Well, we're going to actually skim it here, but we'll be able to work from a concentric surface. So we're going to take the chuck off right now. I guess we could go the right way. No, that is the right way. There we go. Oh boy, this sucker is heavy. But comparatively speaking, that ain't nothing. This one over here is the heavy one. Whee! Okay, we got that in place. Bring the 3-jaw over, drop it in the 4-jaw, one jaw after another. We're barely hanging on to it, but I think we got enough that we can be okay. Okay, we're in place. We're only out by, I don't know, half an inch or so, no problem. Okay, let's get an indicator on this. All right. There's our long side. We'll come back to this. You know, there's no point in you watching me align this. All right, so we're within about a 1/2 thousandths circular and about a 1.5 flatwise. So I'd say we're pretty close. Close enough for my books. Oops, we got to get the right wrench, don't we? like we're going to be way out on that one. Oh, about 30 thousandths or so. Let's give it a spin and see if we can get this thing to kind of mellow out a bit. Well, that's about 20, so that's better. Let's try it again. Oh, that's very nice. We're at about 4 thousandths out right there. That's good. All right, so we're good for that. Now let's tighten her up. Yeah, we got about 8 thousandths now. That's still very good. And the other side should be pretty good. But let's try it and see what it looks like. Yeah, we're out by about 4, so that's pretty good too. I'm happy. Now at this point, what we'll do is take and trim out that wherever we're off, that one side or the other, and bring it back to concentric. All right, we're going to really snug this down. And now I think a good idea to change out our bit here. We want to get a nice clean surface. All right, so far so good. Can we reach all the way back? We cannot. Let's bring the tailstock back a bit. I think that's got it. Yes, we're good. Now let's take her all the way forward. See what we've got there. Of course, get that out of the way. And we're right where we want to be. We're free and clear here. Now, can we get this stop in here without hitting anything? Looks like it. So let's put the stop in, because it always helps me know when to disengage the machine. All right. Okay, let's give it a shot. All right, let's just see what we've got here. Definitely need to change my bit because that is just terrible. But and we're just slightly over 2 inches. We're sitting at 15 there, and we're seven or eight off there. Let's go ahead and finish this cut, and then we'll adjust our tailstock to fit it.